welcome back to Just Us Thinking Aftershow. I'm Michael.
And I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Mikey.
And we have a good show, but first...
Ooh. Welcome to the Bell Witch Podcast, a show that covers the infamous legend of the historic Bell Witch haunting in southern United States in the 19th century, where the Bell family experienced frightening happenings within their home. Hang on a second. No, that's the wrong Bell Witch. This is a podcast about being a witchy pagan in the 21st century, airing bi-weekly, with different guests on each month sharing their pearls of wisdom and gems of knowledge from their very own witchy businesses. I call it a moot loot. Here we cover a wide range of pagan and witchcraft related topics, from sigils, spells and spirits to Reiki rituals and pagan parenting while camping in the Bell tent named Delilah. It's got nothing to do with the Bell Witch from the 19th century in Tennessee that scared people to death in a little townhouse, which may or may not be true. Pretty cool story, but yeah, it's the wrong Bell Witch. This Bell Witch podcast is brought to you by Swales, the friendly green witch from Leeds, UK. A northern witch with a strong Yorkshire accent, a love of all things weird, spooky, magical, and a smelly dragon named Dave. So tune in every 2 weeks for a sprinkling of Yorkshire magic. Listen to the Bell Witch podcast with me, Swales, a friendly green witch, wherever you get your podcasts.
And back to our show here. And this was the To Learn or Not to Learn show.
It was kind of interesting, huh?
Yeah, we do have some strong opinions on this, don't we?
We do, yeah.
Now, we also have... Now, those are what we thought should be taught, what we covered in the main show. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to cover a few things that we don't necessarily believe should be a curriculum or a school...
Like a mandatory class. Or
I'm not even sure I like these as optional. I like these subjects I like as like maybe after school, mm-hmm. or some of these are going to fall in the realm of like specialty, or your parents should teach you these.
Okay.
So now some of these are going to be tough subjects. I'm going to warn everybody now.
Okay. Consider yourself warned.
These are just our opinions.
Okay.
We're by no means telling people how to live their life. So
right. Everybody is entitled to their
opinion.
Their opinions, their right to do what they want to do and all that good stuff.
All right. So now we have a list, but is there anything that's not on the list that you think should be on our list?
Not that I can think of, no.
All right. So we'll just start with our top of the list here.
Okay.
Religious education.
Oh, yeah. See that? And I don't think they do that so much as in high school. They probably do that more on like the college level. What do you think about it on the college level?
Oh, see, now you're asking the deep questions. Huh? I don't. So here's my question. Here's my question is, how many religions are there? Do you know?
I probably couldn't even count. I mean,
there's a lot. You have Christian.
Okay.
You have Catholic, which is
Yeah.
You have what are all the Christianity? There's there's like
Pentecostal, Lutheran, Baptist.
Okay, then you got Muslim, Jewish,
like Buddhism.
Yep.
Okay.
Japanese has their religious. Chinese. Just about every country has their kind of religious thing. So when you say religious education, are you including all of them, or are you picking one?
That's a good question too.
If you're going to be all inclusive and you're going to say, okay, we're going to do religious education and we're going to run the gambit and you're going to learn a little bit about everyone, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
If you're going to say pick and choose, I don't think that should be an option.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
don't get me wrong. Now, if you're going to a Catholic or Christian school, if that's generally going to be a private school,
Right.
that's a whole different ballgame.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if it's a public education, I don't think religious education should be in that unless you're going to say everybody's welcome. And we're going to discuss all religions.
Okay.
That's what I would say there.
That's actually pretty, that's actually pretty good for you. Okay. Well, I mean,
You agree?
I agree.
Okay. All right. What's the next one we have?
So the next one we have is gender studies.
Okay. Now this is a tough one.
This is a tough one. Yeah.
Now I'm okay with both religious education and gender studies being a after school activity.
Okay.
I'm okay with it in that kind of setting.
Okay.
I don't think gender studies should be a class.
Yeah.
Gender is, and I have my opinions, and I don't want to push my opinions on other people. So, each their own.
Right.
I'm not going to discriminate color of the skin or what's between your legs. I don't do that.
Okay.
I could care less.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like things forced down my throat.
Right.
I don't like that at all. Now, gender studies, now on a college level, I could maybe see that being a class.
Or included like in another like what, psychology, or I'm not sure the one I'm looking for here.
Yeah, I think I know what you're saying, but I don't know. I don't necessarily think, now I don't think that should be in a high school or lower.
Yeah. No, it shouldn't.
I hate to say it, but I think sex and gender should be out of kids, because their focus should be core learning skills.
Right.
Okay. I want those kids to not worry about what's between their legs, and I want to know what's between their ears.
Yeah.
That's I guess that's where I go through. I want it's for me school is all about what's between the ears, nowhere else.
Yeah. I think and I think kind of sex ed is maybe because that's one of those things that they do kind of it's not like a course. It's one of those special courses that they do where it's a, I don't know, a day or something.
Well, then we had to get those.
Or no, they've changed that. Well, I guess they've changed it. Okay. So when I was in school, we just did
they pulled all the boys on one side, pulled all the girls on the other, and said, boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
Yeah.
And the teacher said, that's not a toma. That's what happened.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's
changed.
It's changed. I think they have a whole, I don't know, it's not a whole semester or whole quarter, but they have a class on it. But I just, to go back, I mean, I get having, the basics, but to go beyond that, I just don't think that's necessary.
If it's an anatomy kind of class, I could understand that, because there's education in anatomy.
Right.
When you're going through the differences between a boy and a girl, and it's a sex ed class like that, and it's an education purely as a scientific deal, I am a little less concerned about it. I don't think you should be pulling up boys and girls off to the side to say, well, you're a girl, so you're supposed to like boys, or you're a boy, you're supposed to like girls. I don't think, I hate to say it, but I think sex education that falls in the realm of parents' responsibilities in my book.
Yep.
And I know parents don't like to have that, the birds and the bees talk with their kids, but you know what? I think that's where it should come from.
Yeah.
It should be from the parents, and I hate to say it, but gender studies gender and sex, those both should come from the parent side. I think those I don't think those are in school. Those are more personal.
Yeah.
And those should be taken at home.
Exactly.
That's where we keep crossing the line, where if the school goes back to core curriculum and educating the kids instead of all this other bullshit, I think we would get a lot further.
Yeah.
So now the next one is, I don't know.
This one kind of surprised me about you.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like the whole because I know we looked up a lot of them that were on that list, and you were like, this shouldn't be on there. This shouldn't be on there.
Yeah. So the last one on my list here, on our list, is literature and poetry.
Yeah.
I don't think that should be a core class, especially in high school or
Well, I don't think it's a core class. Your core class is like your English, your math.
Even as an elective, I don't think that should be an elective.
Okay.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think that would be a great option for after-school activities.
Okay.
I think that might be great in a college class to a certain point. But I also have to look at, for education purposes, what is the purpose of getting educated?
To learn and to be a functional member of society. Okay, so you go to school for all this time so you can learn, be educated, hold down a job, and be a productive member of society. Okay, so when you go through that, let's think of that. English, you need to learn. Right.
Okay. We speak it, we write it, we read it.
You need to learn it.
You need to learn how to do that. That includes spelling.
Yeah.
Sorry, that needs to be more emphasized as well. Math, we use it every day.
Yeah.
Okay. Science is a core class. That should be a huge thing that we should support. Science is very important. Biology, all the sciences are all included.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you have life skills and things that will teach you to, not be late to work, do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Cooking. Sorry, you have to eat, right?
Right.
You can't rely on McDonald's all the time.
No, you can't.
If you get a rip in your jeans, you should know how to sew. There are things that go through that. So let me ask you this. Now, philosophically, religious education could be more enlightening. Okay. But is that going to pay the bills?
Probably not.
Okay. So I have my degree is in religious studies. Did you know that?
I did, yeah.
So my degree is in religious studies.
Okay.
It doesn't pay the bills.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, it doesn't. Sorry. I will tell you, I was bored. I had a bunch of credits, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just take this class because I could use all these other credits to get that. There are people that actually make a career out of just going to school to just keep getting more education of stuff that they're never going to do.
I know a couple people like that.
Gender studies. What is that? How is that going to pay the bills? Yeah. Sex ed. Well, I can see that, but that's more of a personal thing. Okay. Okay. Literature and poetry are, I'm sorry, but now if you want to be write a book or something, okay, but that's no one's making any money off poetry. I'm sorry, that's just a fact of life. I am a big literature buff, and I write poetry. I do write poetry. You've seen my poems.
I have, yeah.
And I'd say I've been published as well. So I've been in a couple journals that I've got my poetry published in. Okay. That I have got. You know how much money I've made off that? Nothing. Not a damn dime.
Yep.
So that's where I say these things should have to have a goal. If you're going to go take a class that doesn't teach you, that teaches you something that you're never going to use, that to me is absolutely worthless. Okay.
Have to agree.
History is a good example of, I think history is important.
I think so too, yeah.
Those who don't understand history are doomed to repeat it. That's more of a, they always say hindsight's 20/20. So when you're looking back, you should be able to look back, get the lessons of what other people did, and not make those same mistakes.
Yeah.
That should be the goal, right?
It should be, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess that's my opinion on it. What do you think?
Actually, I mean, I hate to say this again, but I agree with you a little bit. So,
Stockholm syndrome is setting in.
It has, yeah. I mean, we have stuff that we disagree on and agree on. So, I mean, it's.
I guess the problem that I have is two of these on the list are two of the things I like.
Yeah.
And I'm actually speaking from experience on those, saying I'm not making any money on that. Now, that doesn't get me wrong. I mean, you could still make some money on that if you went further into it. I guess you can do that, but I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry. I mean, if I'm gonna go write for Eminem,
Yeah.
maybe I want poetry or literature. You got to keep up with his flow,
Exactly, yeah.
But I want to say, everyday people, I would rather, instead of taking one of these, literature, sex ed, gender studies, religious education, instead of taking one of those, actually get fluent in a language.
Good point.
Go through
yeah.
go through home economics and learn how to sew and learn how to actually do a task.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think they have those really on, in the high school level. I think those are more like... But yeah, I mean...
You pay for college. You're paying for a worthless class.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And if you take one of these classes and you're making money, then good for you. But you're kind of an anomaly. You're not. That's not going to happen.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Nope. I get it. So yeah.
Is there any? You can't think of any other ones, or here's the thing.
See, and unfortunately, I'm not like really familiar with all that, so I can't really say like much on that.
What about sports?
Oh.
So I'm a firm believer that sports should be taught.
What kind of
like physical ed?
Oh, okay.
PE.
Yeah, I think that should be. Yeah.
So I don't know. Should PE be on there?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So they like calisthenics and stuff like that. I could see that. Now, here's a question I'm going to pose to you.
Okay.
What if you're doing after school sports? Can those count as PE and you don't have to take PE?
Some of those actually do.
Do they?
Yeah. Like
okay.
with Mikey's band class, his band class, because he's in marching band, counts as like a PE class, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, but Mikey, you also bowl, you also play tennis, and you play golf. Do any of those count for PE?
I don't think so.
I know his band does, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they don't, and I think they should.
Yeah, I know. He had it back. Did you have it your freshman year?
I did have it my freshman year, yes.
You had a PE your freshman year?
Yes, I did.
Okay, yeah.
But you haven't had PE since then?
No.
Okay. So yeah, I would say if they're doing extracurricular activities as far as sports goes, that should say somebody should look and say, obviously this guy's getting his physical education in, because he's out there golfing, playing tennis, running down the court. Bowling is equivalent of walking, so
right.
I mean it's you're moving around and
you're being active. So yeah.
So I don't know.
I think that is important too. So.
All right, I think we'll leave it there. I think that's a pretty good show. So
alrighty.
Now, if you do want to follow. You could do that on Facebook, Instagram. You could do that on X.
Okay. You can also listen to us on iHeart, Spotify, Apple, YouTube Music, Amazon, Samsung, or pretty much any podcast player.
And of course, we are on YouTube and Rumble for our videos and for our shows. And then, of course, we're still on TikTok.
Yes, we are.
It's still ticking and talking.
It's still there.
Yep. So good show. Hopefully these didn't offend anybody.
Yeah.
We're not trying to say, these things don't exist. I just don't think they should exist on a kid level.
Right.
So,
Yep.
All right, good show.
All right. Bye, everybody.